Thank you for joining us. I'm Marianne Redding, curator here at the Sioux City Art Center. The photograph that we're going to talk about today is by Cara Romero. She's a contemporary fine art photographer. Her father is Native American, and her mother is Anglo-American, and she grew up between Santa Fe, Houston, and the Chemehuevi, and I apologize if I am not saying this correctly, the Chemehuevi Valley Indian Reservation along the shore of Lake Havasu in the Mojave Desert. Her identity informs her photography. It's shaped by years of study and a visceral approach to representing indigenous and non-indigenous cultural memory, collective history, and the lived experiences from a Native American female perspective. As an undergraduate at the University of Houston, Cara Romero pursued a degree in cultural anthropology, but she got really disillusioned by academic and media portrayals of Native American as romanticized relics from the past. And she decided that by making photographs, she could do more than anthropology to change that popular narrative. And I think she does that very successfully in her work. She uses photography as, quote, a means for opening audiences' perspectives to the fascinating diversity of living indigenous peoples, unquote. Her approach fuses time-honored and culturally specific symbols with 21st century ideas. As she says, her strategy reinforces a uniquely indigenous worldview that reflects the resilience and beauty of contemporary Native Americans, all the while affirming that indigenous culture is continually evolving and eminently permanent. This photograph is called TV Indians, and it gathers Native people who are her family and friends in front of a wall of old black and white TVs that are sort of inexplicably stacked up here in the desert. So on the screens, you'll see images from Dances with Wolves, Little Big Man, Billy Jack, The Lone Ranger. There's also a mushroom cloud that references the nuclear bombing tests that were done in the New Mexico desert very close to Native American communities. There is a photograph of a commercial that many people may remember about conservation, but the actor is an Italian portraying a Native American. So each of these screens shows a media representation of indigenous people. It's Hollywood. It's fabricated. Some of the depictions are positive, some of them are negative or stereotypical, and some of them are really exploitive. So it's against this backdrop of conflicting images that the people who are pictured in the photograph demand to be seen directly for who they are. If you're interested in finding out more information about Native American arts and culture, the Native Arts and Cultural Foundation has a great website. The foundation's mission is to advance equity and cultural knowledge, focusing on the power of arts and collaboration to strengthen Native American communities and to promote positive social change with Indian American, Native Hawaiian, and Alaskan Native peoples all across the United States. And their website is really an excellent resource for cross-cultural understanding.